left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Good morning, Bakersfield, California. Thank you for tuning in to Wake and Jake, our Thursday episode, our second half of the week episode. We'll preview the NFL weekend and the sports weekend ahead of you. I like that. It kind of tees us all up for that. We will start where we normally start, with the baseball. The Atlanta Braves are the World Series champions. I think that's a statement that if we said it before the season, we wouldn't have been surprised at all. If you told us the Atlanta Braves were going to win the World Series in 2021, I think a lot of people would have said, all right. Yeah, a lot of talent. Those good young pitchers. They added Charlie Morton. Ronald Acuna Jr. is one of the best players in the game. Same with Freddie. Ozzy's really good at baseball. Marcell Ozuna, he's good. That is not the path that the Atlanta Braves took. They took a very different one, including weren't sure if they were going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. I know Peter Moylan, JOMBOY Media, Fox Sports South is pretty adamant. They had a road trip before the deadline where they went 4-3. And Peter Moylan is adamant if they went 3 or 4 that they were going to sell. I don't know how much inside info he has there, or if that's just pure Australian passion from Aussie Albies. But this Atlanta Braves team, man, there's a lot of energy behind World Series runs. You're either this all-time great team and a little bit of special happening. Like, we just did an all-time great World Series team draft on JJR yesterday. Go check that out. Me, BBD, and Rosie. But there's something to having magic, and that'll never be able to be quantified. Eddie Rosario's catch. You know, kind of the different guys stepping up, whether it's Soler, there were defensive plays. The bullpen, man, like, go ask any analytics person the odds of Tyler Matzik throwing, 19 innings this postseason?
Feels right, something in that range.
Around there, 19 innings this postseason and being as nasty as a reliever could be. He overshadowed Will Smith, who had a perfect postseason. It wasn't a perfect game, but he's the closer, and he went scoreless. And he's like an afterpiece of this story. A special run by the Braves, a special run by Trevor Plouffe, who had it before the season. Might hear about him later. And I think the other thing when we talk about this Braves season as a whole, Austin Riley. You may know the name if you're a sports fan or a baseball fan. He had a breakout year this year. He's 24 years old. His stats on the year deserve to be said again. He hit .303, which, by the way, not a lot of players are doing that nowadays. I think we looked it up. There was 17 guys in both leagues that hit 300, something like that. 33 homers, 107 RBI, and 898 OPS. That was 15th. I don't know if that was 15th in MLB or the National League. Either way, from the third base position, that is a special season. Third basemen don't do that. Young, thick Austin Riley is a up-and-coming star in this league. Combine that with Jock Peterson and the Pearls. That's going to be wild in hindsight. Our guy Dansby Swanson, Vandy man. as the last guy in this lineup, Dansby Swanson. He hit leadoff a few games. This Braves team did it from every aspect. They had starting pitching performances. They had relief pitching, defense, offense, all packaged into Jorge Soler. Trade deadline piece, Jorge Soler. And this is this is one that I don't know what you fully do with it. We'll find out this offseason. Jorge Soler was as bad as a player can be on Kansas. Not as bad as a player could be, but 192 batting average.
76 OPS plus.
94
That's like more
games.
than a down year.
Yeah, man. It was that was tough. He was getting paid, he's getting paid $8 million this year.
Real money.
We didn't know. Me and Jom were coming from different sides of the trade deadline. I thought the Royals weren't going to be able to trade him because the Royals were kind of going to be like, well, we think this guy is good. They traded him for Casey Kalich. I don't think he's a huge prospect. He's in the minors. He's getting some guys out of the bullpen. Go get him, Casey Kalich. Jorge Soler is your World Series MVP. He's now won 2 World Series, by the way. So good for him. Very interested to see what his free agency looks like. He has 1.5 good major league seasons, along with like 3 to 4 okay major league seasons. And he just won the World Series MVP. And he looked very bad in Kansas City, and then he looked awesome with the Braves. 55 games with the Braves, 269, 358, 882 OPS. And then he got better.
He was pretty much literally as good in Atlanta as he was bad with Kansas City.
Yeah.
It comes out to like an average year.
Yeah, like if he was a 2 out of 10 for Kansas City, he was an 8 out of 10 for the Braves. Some math for you. So, hey, I don't know. JJR, we talked about the 2015 Royals, how they changed the game a little bit with bullpen. I guess what I'm really interested to see is they took a lot of flyers, their whole outfield, and won. Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall, and Eddie Rosario, your NLCS MVP. 4 flyers. They didn't really give up too many prospects. I'm not sure how the cash worked out. But with where free agency's at in baseball, guys like Eddie Rosario, Jock Peterson, Kyle Schwarber, guys that sign 1-year deals because teams, that's just kind of what they're doing with them. If you're a team with enough talent, trading a couple C- prospects and Pablo Sandoval to get yourself 4 major league guys. Include Adam Duvall was playing center field for them. He was their everyday center fielder for the playoffs. Jock had his moments. He faded in the World Series. That's okay. Didn't hurt him. And then literally your CS and your World Series MVP from trade deadline acquisition. So good for Alex Anthopoulos, their GM, for going for it. I know at the time of the trade deadline, we kind of gave some shrugs. Give myself a mini pat on the back. I like that Anthopoulos gave his team a chance because there's no risk.
It was like a shrug, and I guess they're going for it. They're not going to just capitalize on whatever trade value dudes have, and they're trying. Cool,
for the Dodgers this year, there was risk. They traded away 2 big prospects, a pitcher and a catcher. They didn't win the World Series this year. We're assuming Scherzer's going to return, and Trey Turner will have 1 more year of, but if Josiah Gray and I think it was Ruiz.
If really either of them become good.
Right. And maybe both can. And hey, kudos to the Dodgers for going for it. We want more teams to do that. But I'm interested to see. I wouldn't be shocked if this becomes a little more part of the formula, and it's almost a little NBA-ish, and I say I don't like it in the NBA, but that's because there's no actual trade. In the NBA, we see guys like Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge. They just leave and they go join the team.
They just straight up like bought out mid-season.
The bought-out veterans.
Be a free agent for a second.
I guess with these, like if you're a playoff team and you've got a couple roster spots that maybe, you got an outfielder with minor league options or same with an infielder or whatever it is, and you could go get a guy like Jorge Soler or Eddie Rosario or Jock Peterson, a guy that can click in a 6-game series, I would go do that. Especially the way teams value guys now, where Eddie Rosario and his $8 million contract was traded as a salary dump of like $2 million. He was traded for Sandoval, and what Cleveland was doing was getting rid of $2 million off their books. So if you're one of the big boys and you can do that, I don't know. I like teams that are going to the playoffs or think they're going to the playoffs, adding talent to their team. I guess my concern is, and hey, maybe this can be a good thing, if you're a team that's not sure how your year's going to go, the Cubs, the Indians, soon to be the Guardians, and you sign a guy like Jorge Soler, Jock Peterson, are you really going for it? Is it kind of fan service, like we signed someone, but there's
you a name,
there's no real intention? Or I don't know. I wonder if some of those middler teams could sign a bunch of one-year guys, and if it doesn't click, trade 2 of them for like a real prospect.
Do it in one move.
I don't know. I'm interested to see if that's the development.
I suppose ideally those signings were supposed to be like, yeah, they'll be either good and make our team good, or if they have a good year, we can get like a real prospect for them. And how real is a real prospect when it's the rentals, but
right,
realer than what they got. And you never know how guys are going to shake out. But
I guess the concern there would be if you're a good team, which, by the way, again, the Braves were a really good team coming into the season. Were they like the 3rd favorite NL team? Nobody really believed in the Central. The Braves had the East, and there was Dodgers-Padres mania. So I think most you could argue they were 3rd or 2nd, because Dodgers and Padres, like, that had to sort itself out.
Up in a wild card and potentially just end, whatever.
I guess if you're a really good baseball team, or you expect to be really good, there's not too much of an incentive to sign a Soler or Jock or Eddie before the season, knowing you could get them at the trade deadline. Maybe you could try out one of your young guys for half a season, see if they click
and are cheap. And
if not, then you could go trade nothing for a Soler, Peterson, Rosario, Duvall, hope they click, or trade for 4 of them and hope 2 of them click. And then that's how you load up your team. I don't know. I'm not saying it's problematic in any way. It just could be how baseball,
a team operates.
If you're a GM, I mean, that makes a lot of sense in my head. Instead of taking an $8 million risk, you take a $2 million risk and you give up a guy that probably never plays for you. So, interested to see. Congrats to Atlanta fans, and they've been really cool with us. You guys obviously know kind of the story of the company at this point, and if Houston won, there's a lot of good Houston Astros fans, but there's also a lot of tough ones that would have made it a bad couple days for the company. And that is the other side of the story here. The Houston Astros, again, we just talked about it with Chris Rose on best World Series teams from the past 20 years or so. It seemed like this was going to be their redemption story. The Braves didn't feel like a powerhouse. Houston kind of still did. They did lose Lance McCullers, but, if you do full injury swaps on these teams, it comes out, if anything, neutral. But it just seemed like this was kind of going to be the handshake because the Braves are and were a really good team. That they were kind of going to confirm their championship. And then Correa would move on and we'd kind of be over it because Astros could hold over our head. We did it again. No funny business. We were really good then. We're really good now. Now, the other side of that, if someone did, and I'm not saying you should say this to an Astros fan, but there's one year that's different where they got their World Series, and that year they were punished for cheating. So, I don't know. I'm genuinely saying, like, you shouldn't be going into online bicker spats with Houston fans over that.
Don't go out of your way.
But, you know, the Rob Manfred punishment, if we remember what it was that they had...
The greatest punishment of all is public opinion being against them.
Which we did laugh at and still is kind of stupid. Because guess what? These guys are going to put blinders on and they have a World Series ring, so they won't really care. But if Alex Bregman, Altuve, Correa, a lot of those guys from that 2017 team, if that's their only ring, I mean, people are going to basically give them the Charles Barkley treatment, but worse. Like, you know, would you have that ring if you cheated? So, not saying Uncle Rob was right. I'm not saying the Astros are a bad team. They're a really good team. It's going to be interesting to see how they are going forward. They still have a ton of talent. They could have pretty easily won this World Series. Couple plays, couple injuries. And it should be kudos to the Braves, man. What their bullpen did was gross. I'd love to get the numbers of the night shift and compare them to the 2015 Royals. Has anyone done that yet? Should we do that? Maybe we will. And Max Fried in a deciding game. He is one of the best young pitchers in baseball. Happy for him. They get Soroka back next year. They get Acuna back next year. I mean, the only Brave storyline for this offseason is if they bring back Freddie, which they have to. You have to bring back Freddie Freeman. He's a lifetime Brave. He wants to be there. Whatever the Yankees, Dodgers, Tigers, whoever it is, just match the offer. And I think Freddie probably has that same mindset. Nobody yell hometown discount because he won the MVP. He's going to finish top 10 in MVP this year, and they won the World Series. And they, by the way, they signed Albies and Acuna to incredible deals. So front load Freddie's deal. I'm no math guy. Not my father. I think that's the baseball. Man, Braves win the World Series. How awesome for Snit. Pretty cool story. Sad for Dusty. That is the other side of it. That's how these things work. Very interesting offseason for the Astros. Are they going to be in the shortstop market? Are they in on Correa? Are they in on the other people? Do they believe in their prospects? They supposedly have some on the way. Do they go stopgap with it? Still a ton of talent in that organization. Interested to see how sexy Seattle's offseason gets because they're kind of the team that could rival them. A's are selling. Rangers still stink. Angels would have to make like a bunch of pitching splashes that they've just never done. So the Astros aren't dead. The Braves may be super alive. They've got guys coming in. Who's going to challenge them in that division? Nats look dead. Phillies are going to make moves, but is it enough? Mets are going to make moves. Is it enough? Marlins could be pesky.
I think they're going to try to take another step forward.
But none of them are going to be near the Braves level. And the Braves, they had so much go wrong this regular season. And then you saw it in the postseason. So, congrats to Atlanta. Their fan base has been awesome to us. And that's a wrap on the baseball season. So, interested to see what goes on CBA-wise. Obviously, always talking baseball. We'll dive in. If you want to see Trevor Plouffe on one, go check out the last Talking Baseball we did. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm interested to see where the conversation goes. Is the conversation in baseball just going to be straight CBA talk in 5 days? Is it going to be like free agency excitement? I don't know.
There's technically, and we've started making some moves. And they're going to have to do some. Teams are going to have to start doing like 40-man cleanup stuff before labor stuff gets intense. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Tucker Barnhart got traded.
Tucker Barnhart did get traded. JOMBOY Media's Tucker Barnhart to the Tigers.
Thought that was going to be, an option for more than 1 day of off season.
Yeah, how about that?
Yankee stuff.
The passing bomb.
That's fine. Kiermaier just had knee surgery.
How about it? He might get traded. That's the baseball. We will always keep you guys up to baseball on here, on Talking Baseball, on Talking Yanks. We'll probably do some fun baseball things in the offseason, some drafts. We did the all-international team with Joe's. We did the all-good team with our guy Foolish. Those are some of our better episodes. So we'll probably start doing a few things like that. Probably the second episode of the week will be
It's got a chance to be that.
The Mix It Up episode. Find a fun topic. If you guys have any ideas, comment. Hit up BBD. Hit up me. And yeah, we've got some reach now between like Chris Rose always wants to do stuff. Moylan, Trev, Winger, Cole Tucker. We're really close to doing a fun Arizona-themed one. We'll see if we corner him at some point.
I'd still like to do that at some point, even though it's not as topical.
Not as pertinent now. So, yeah, let us know about that. That is the baseball for now in the books. Pretty crazy.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. Opening day on the couch to here. We didn't go to spring training this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll be here. Interested to see the conversation in baseball. Sign a CBA and let's have fun this offseason. Please.
Could be cool.
Pretty please. Cherry on top. And the other thing that I said we were going to do, and I think we should still map up, is doing a early season NBA preview with information we know. See if we hook someone in for that. I still don't. Is there any NBA news that needs to be said?
Depends on what you qualify as news. Patrick Williams' injury is pretty big, but
broke his hand, something like that. Right?
Yeah, wrist thing kind of stinks because the Bulls were doing some cool stuff, which they still are. He's like the fourth best player on that team, but he'll be missing. He's a cool young player, so you feel bad. It's kind of been the biggest injury so far in the season, I think.
A team with hope this year.
Yeah. They're doing cool stuff.
The Simmons stuff is still messy.
Yeah.
We'll get something for the people. I know this isn't the biggest NBA crew because you're a lot of baseball sickos, but we love sports. That's what sports is about. So we will get that. I think we'll do our football preview like we've been doing. Let me check Czechoslovakia. Let's see any good top 25 games this weekend. Anything you need to tune into for the college football. Michigan State playing Purdue. If you've ever seen a college football trap game, that is the definition of it. In Purdue, Michigan State's up to number 3 after their awesome win over Michigan, their rivals. Yeah, I've seen that. Seen that before. That's kind of my Jets game this weekend in college football. Oklahoma State, West Virginia. Always bet the over in that game. That's not science. Auburn, Texas A&M. That's a good 3:30 SEC foosball game. You can watch that. Alabama, LSU. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be too much of a game, but it's a good party. Okay, I don't think you really have to change your college football weekend. If you find yourself at the Southern Bar at 3:30 Eastern, watch yourself some Auburn A&M.
Yeah.
But I think that's
Talk about how you wish LSU Bama was a more exciting game this year.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of sucks how that's, I don't know, the Coach O thing and then some of the stories that came out over that. They did just come out with the college football rankings. I guess people would want to know that, right? I think the big storyline from it, Cincinnati's ranked number 2 in the country right now from the AP. They're 6th. So if the college football playoff happened tomorrow, it'd be Georgia, Bama, Michigan State, Oregon. By the way, Ohio State is ahead of Cincinnati. Michigan behind them as Michigan State beat them. Oklahoma's 9-0, but it's been like so shaky. I guess the story from that, people were getting hot on Cincinnati, and it's like, I guess all the big boys are going to trump them.
They seem to be this year's wild card oddball team.
The team you want to root for. The team you want to get in and upset a big boy to make it worthwhile.
There's like the TCU year, which I think they're historically better than Cincinnati, but that vibe.
Yeah. All right. That's college football.
Such
We're
a
obviously
college football expert.
Obviously not dialed. Let's get into the NFL, the National Football League. Tonight, I celebrate my love for you. The Indianapolis Colts host the New York Jetropolitans. Mike White season. We'll see if that continues. Indy at home. Again, really sucks they lost that game last week to the Titans in OT, especially after Derrick Henry went down. There'd be a lot of Colts love if they were 4-4. I don't know. I have some bias in this game. And kind of unfortunately playing Carson Wentz, and he had 2 awful interceptions, but they didn't hurt his fantasy box score. So I don't know if you need to watch Jets Colts. I guess you can, right?
What else?
No
what
baseball.
Else you doing? Probably an NBA game to watch, but
let's see if Mike White's real, right?
Of the football,
Dude, if Mike White throws for like over 300 yards, like Mike White mania is going to be in effect, which is pretty nuts.
There's going to be some conversations we might find pretty silly in a few weeks, but
Mike White mania.
Love that.
Let's see the Sunday slate. Let's see the 1 p.m. games. We'll get you one money one to watch there. Cleveland at Cincinnati. Could be fun. Everyone's really down on Cleveland. Cincinnati
out for the year now.
Cincinnati just lost to the Jets. That should be some old school AFC Norris football game. 19-23 final. Maybe they're not. Maybe they blow it out. Man, whoever if Cincy loses, they're still 5-4. Cleveland really needs it. And hey, I actually want to give Cleveland Browns fans some love. They're 4-4, and people are like disappointed. From where we were with the Cleveland Browns,
not too long ago,
that's a good sign. Like the Lions are winless. And Browns and Lions used to be like lamb and tuna fish. My Broncos are at the Cowboys. Actually, you guys told me that it seems like I'm not a Broncos fan. You're half right. And hey, not to give myself a little credit, they just traded Von Miller. They don't believe in themselves. They traded away Von Miller. He's like a cornerstone of their franchise history. They're playing the Dallas Cowboys, who look pretty good. Give them a scare, Denver. Stay in it. Give Teddy Two Gloves a chance. I feel like Cowboys mania isn't real right now. I think it's because the NFC teams are really good. But if they're 7-1,
gonna have to be talked about as a real threat.
Get Cowboys mania going. I'm in on it. Houston and Miami, no.
Oh man.
Oh, the Deshaun Watson Bowl. No.
He didn't go.
No, man, hell no. Maybe Tua trying out for his future team. We'll see. Atlanta at New Orleans. I think our guy Taysom Hill's back. He's always an entertaining watch. I don't know. Saints are hot in the street. I told you guys they're the only middler team in their conference. Atlanta seemingly shot themselves in the foot last week, so Atlanta's a team that sometimes picks it back up. Other times they just poop the bed. Interested to see how Taysom looks. If New Orleans gets a serious playoff seed and Taysom Hill gets a game, that would be good entertainment. Giants, Vegas. I want to watch.
You guys probably don't need to check this out.
The rug stuff is coming out, and it's bad.
Every update's worse.
156? Was that the number?
I think Trill tweeted, like, cut that in half and you're still speeding, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Chaos.
And, dude, the NFL has a thing set up for any NFL players can get a ride in, like, any city. Like, they've done that.
Just very reckless.
Don't be young and dumb. Vegas at the Giants, I don't know. Feels like someone will win in the last minute. Couldn't tell you who.
What a weird year for the Raiders.
I mean, they're 5-2.
Yeah. On the football end of things, everything's kind of
Gruden's
good.
gone, and they're, like, excited about it. But, yeah, I mean, this Ruggs thing just feels like another, like, what?
He is their leading receiver entering today, it looks like.
Just awful. Don't drink and drive. Carolina, New England. That'll be a slugfest between two coaches. We'll see if McCaffrey's back. He's cleared. He can come off the IR this week.
It sounded like he won't be back.
He had a light practice. So it's either funny business by Matt Rule, or that hamstring injury was really bad and they're being super cautious about it. And Chuba Hubbard's pretty good. He's been playing well for them. And the new look Patriots. BBD, if you want a little, we did this briefly, but I heard some New England folks talking about it. The New England Patriots are really close to being 7-1. I know that's a game.
Upcoming schedule.
That's a game you know, a lot of teams can do in the NFL, but legitimately, Buccaneers game, they missed a kick to take the lead. Dolphins, they lost by a point week 1, and I think they were, like, driving with the ball. And then that crazy Cowboys game that went back and forth in the final minutes. So
that Saints loss is the only one that
there's two
can't
ways
point to something.
There's two ways to look at the New England Patriots. They're 500, and they sneaked out a win against the Chargers, sneaked out a win against the Texans. Remember, they were down in that game.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like they've had their share of squeaking out a win they maybe didn't deserve to.
You know, what is Mac Jones, blah, blah, blah.
It's not like they haven't won any close games.
Or you could say Mac Jones is getting better, and they could have won more games. So, interested, Panthers, Browns, Falcons, Titans coming up for them. Not the toughest slate.
Yeah,
Patriots,
without Henry and with the Browns being kind of underwhelming.
Patriots could kind of get into the mix of this season. Interesting to see. Buffalo, Jacksonville, no. Talked about that. Minnesota, Baltimore, that might be your 1 p.m. winner. A lot of purple on the field. We like that. Minnesota plays fun games. Baltimore coming off their bye. So they could, like, roll them. I don't know. Sometimes Baltimore plays to their opponent a little bit. That looks like the current winner from the 1 p.m. slate. 4 p.m. Chargers hosting the Eagles.
Looks like it's in Philly.
In Philly. Chargers have lost 2 straight. They really need to win that. Otherwise, they're basically DED dead. If they win, they're 5-3, and they're still exciting. Just be careful. Philly's somehow won 3 games.
I don't understand how they did it.
Lions, Panthers, Falcons, so not too impressive, but they've been in a couple games.
And they straight up, like, stomped the line.
You just can't sleepwalk. Just don't sleepwalk in Philly if you're the Chargers. Green Bay at Kansas City. This is the NFL's circle it until Rodgers with the COVID. So he's out. Jordan Love season. We'll see how he looks. If he looks interesting, that becomes a fun conversation in NFL circles.
I thought he was interesting.
Pat Mahomes is interesting.
I think Bortles is coming in.
Yeah, there's a good Bortles story like there always is, but he came like straight from the golf course. The full story is he was about to double bogey a hole, and he just left the putt and went to the airport. Not sure where the details got left, but in Kansas City, they snuck by the Giants. They're 4-4. Can they get like the train going? I mean, Rodgers being out. You're home versus the Packers without Rodgers. Like, Chiefs kind of got to win that game. Cardinals at San Francisco. Cardinals coming off their first loss to Green Bay. San Francisco at home. They're trying to be a player in this season again. They're 3-4. Excuse me. They beat the Bears last week. I think that game could be interesting. It's a good. We said this last episode. It's going to be a good test for Arizona. If Arizona wins that game confidently, I think you could say like that's a good ball club.
Niners team as motivated as they can be.
Yeah, at home. If the Niners
they're supposed to be good.
If the Niners bring you back into the mud, and I think they have their running back, I think Justin Wilson Jr. comes back this week. We'll see how impactful he is. Elijah Mitchell, who's been running for them, has also been good. So that's a fun tester to see if Arizona's real or not. And then your Sunday night game, Tennessee at the Rams. Tennessee coming off the Derrick Henry news. That sucks. The Rams have been really good. They're 7-1, right?
Yeah.
Only losses to the Cardinals, who beat them handily in SoFi. So we'll see, like, is Adrian Peterson suiting up for that game? That would be a fun storyline. Pretty crazy that he's still doing it.
It's a good storyline game.
Yeah.
Two good teams.
Sunday night. And I heard some, in the NFL, sometimes there's unknowns. We play the game of, hey, if you put this quarterback in this offense, how would they look? If this coach was with this team, how would they look? If that quarterback had these wide receiver options, how would it look? Ryan Tannehill, this is an interesting test. Derrick Henry gets a ton of love on the Titans, and he deserves it. His running numbers compared to the rest of the league are insane. That being said, like, the Titans roster is kind of stacked. A.J. Brown is gross. Gross. Julio Jones, he's listed as questionable. Questionable? Did I say that weird?
Not that time.
Questionable. He's a maybe for the game. So, I don't know. That becomes really fun. If it's A.J. Brown and Julio Jones with Tannehill slinging the pill and, like, that's their offensive threat, interested to see how he looks. He can elevate himself, or he can kind of, I hate to say Kirk Cousins himself, but Kirk Cousins himself. So that is the Sunday slate. So, I mean, I don't know. It was supposed to be Green Bay KC, and
that was going to be the real winner.
That's kind of
Rodgers being out.
It's kind of not it.
Titans Rams will be like a pleasant watch, I think.
Okay, BBD said it.
They're good teams.
Trev's Matt Stafford coming
Obviously,
off of.
you'd prefer Henry be there. Foot cramp.
Matt Stafford's Trev coming off a huge week for him. BBD working through his foot cramp. Chicago, Pittsburgh, Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. Oh, Steelers could get to 5-3. How about that? That's the football slate. People, football's always fun. Fantasy football this time of year, we're getting into the bye weeks, and it makes it really messy. Detroit, Seattle, Tampa, and Washington on a bye, so Tampa's the only team you're really missing. I think Russ might be back next week. We'll see if that does anything for Seattle. For us, we will go to the comment of the day. Bakers, I ask you guys to leave a comment. Bake the algorithm. Hit like. Share with a friend. And by the way, I'm going to ask you guys, end of baseball season. We never ask for reviews. Go leave a podcast review. It's been a minute. Someone named Toe Gobbler left a podcast review. BBD's foot cramping. I shouldn't have said that. Toe Gobbler gave us 3 thumbs up. Toe Gobbler. On the YouTube, Bruce said, I accept your resignation from Broncos country. Hey, I'm not retiring, Bruce. I just want them to take it in a different direction. Teddy's not the answer. Sorry. Matthew Nauer said, got basketball tryouts all week. Any tips? Someone responded to him, play really good. Hustle. If you're the kind of person that's asking for tips at basketball tryouts, I would hustle. That seems like it's your bet. And then Tom,
if you're hustling, being a pleasant person to be around, and
that can only help.
They're not rooting against you.
Although I will say, one of our friends from college, Ken, formerly Fat Ken, we reference him a good amount across the JAM network. Every year at high school basketball tryouts, the coach would roll the ball and say, Ken, go get it. He'd get it. Never made the team. So don't fall into that either. If you see the coach kind of messing with you. High school sports are tough. And Tom Bacon said, when do you think Trev will say the immortal words, O's and 4? Which brings me to my bro of the night. It will be Trevor Plouffe. He's getting talked about. ESPN gave him the love. MLB.com. It really is unbelievable. I know you guys definitely saw us have all the fun with it. It's ridiculous to say before the season exactly the World Series matchup and how many games. Truly ridiculous. Good for my guy. Love him. Again, if you want to see some silly Trev, watch the Talking Baseball we recorded after the World Series. Pretty wild. It's wild. BBD?
Also Trev.
Wow.
Foot's still cramping. He's our friend.
A bruh to your foot, I think.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Sometimes certain shoes bring it out of me a little bit, I guess.
Man.
I don't know what's happening. I got to eat a banana. Freddie Freeman, shout out.
Okay. I think that's it for us, guys. I'll be honest, Papi Gordo needs a good night's sleep. Looking to get it. We premiered this. I'm sure you guys figured that out because I wasn't responding to the chat. Thank you guys for letting us do this. Again, end of busy season. And we might be premiering more stuff, especially if we do the pre-recorded stuff. We'll try to let you guys know ahead of time. Thank you guys for all your support. Watch all the stuff on the JOMBOY Media Network. Like I mentioned, JJR, the World Series, best World Series team draft with Chris Rose. Compound, Ian Half, Dakota Meckies, my guy Zach Short. Mansplain Baseball, if they put something out, it's kind of a must. Farm to Fame, Talking Giants, always something. Everything else.
So much stuff. Towing the slabs.
Towing the slab.
If you're seeing this on Thursday, Talking Yanks is soon.
Special guest, maybe. Definitely. Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you here Monday.